There's literally just a small handful of different dividend paying stocks and ETFs that I've been buying consistently now, probably for the last 6 months to a year. Now, I personally have been buying into this small basket of stocks and ETFs because the fact that all these different stocks and ETFs, in my opinion, have a relatively safe dividend yield moving forward, all pay more and more in dividends over time, meaning that some of these offer some substantial dividend growth, and or some of these stocks and ETFs pay a massive dividend yield from day one. Now, if you want to see which specific stocks and ETFs have been consistently helping my overall dividend growth portfolio reach higher and higher dividends over the past several months, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into the first holding. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. Now, the first ETF that I've not only been buying for well over a year now, but an ETF that I've also been nibbling on just as of recently, and in my opinion, one of the best ETFs across the entire market. I'm talking about JEPQ, or the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF. Now, because of this ETF strategy, it not only offers investors a ton of income every single month, but also on top of that, this ETF just seems to keep going up in price like crazy. Now, JEPQ is an ETF that has a 0.35% expense ratio, has a rock solid strategy, and for this reason, across all my portfolios, I currently own hundreds and hundreds of shares. Now, as far as dividends go, this ETF offers an 8 or 9% trailing 12-month dividend yield. And although JEPQ doesn't pay the same exact amount each month, it has paid me dividends consistently for well over a year now, which have been getting a little bit bigger over the past few months. As far as a high quality ETF for those investors out there looking for something that's going to help their portfolio generate a lot more income and dividends a lot quicker, JEPQ is probably one of the best across the entire market to do it. And speaking of a high quality ETF that also generates a ton of income for investors, another ETF that I've been buying a lot of as of recently is SPYI, or the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. Now, even though this ETF isn't necessarily going to be a position in my long-term portfolio that's going to get me rich as far as price return goes, this ETF offers an 11 or 12% trailing 12-month dividend yield. Which means for every single share of SPYI that you currently buy at, say, $50 or $51 per share as of recent, you're going to receive 50, 49, 48 cents on a consistent basis as far as dividends go. At least that's what they paid historically. Now, this ETF has been a huge unlock for my overall portfolio because it does yield so much right off the bat. I do know that I am probably going to be sacrificing some overall gains maybe later on in the future, and this is a trade-off I'm willing to take to get some more income generated today. But as far as income chasers, yield chasers, investors that want some high-quality dividends from day one, SPYI is one of the best to do it. Now, I've also been nibbling on SPYI's sibling, brother or sister. I'm talking about QQQI, the NEOS Nasdaq 100 High Income ETF. Basically the same exact thing as SPYI, but instead of dealing with the S&P 500, this ETF deals in the Nasdaq 100. Now, this is of course another income-oriented, income-generating ETF that's currently yielding around 14 or 15%. And on top of that, this ETF has only been trading since around late January this year, but is up around 3.5%. Now, to give you an idea on how much income you can generate potentially with this ETF, it currently costs around $52 per share, and it's paying out 62 cents, 61 cents, 59 cents in dividends per month, which is amazing. And is definitely helping me as of right now raise my overall dividend income, which, as you guys know, is very important to me because I personally am planning on using my dividend income in the future for things like bills, vacations, or other things. I will admit, across all the more income-focused ETFs, this is going to be the smallest position that I currently have in my long-term portfolio, but I am going to keep consistently buying a few shares here and there. Definitely check out QQQI if you haven't already. Now, to get into a few high quality stocks that I've been buying like crazy as of recently, and this is not only for income generation, I'm talking about dividends, but also I think that ticker symbol Realty Income, for example, has some massive upside from here. I mean, over the last month, Realty Income is up around 8 or 9% as far as price return goes, and this is making Realty Income creep a lot closer and closer to that 52-week range high. Now, with where Realty Income is trading now, it's only offering a 5.6% forward yield, which, lucky enough for me and probably a lot of you guys, we grabbed a lot of Realty Income when it was offering over a 6% yield, which is going to help us a lot. And this is especially when it comes to those next few dividend increases. We're talking 6.1, 6.2% yield on cost. But Realty Income, even where it's trading right now in the $57, $58 range, I'm still grabbing a few shares, collecting more and more shares until I reach 3,000 across my entire portfolio. Another single stock that I have been buying once again like crazy is Main Street Capital. We've talked about Main a lot on the channel. The fact that Main Street Capital is the best business development company across the entire market, in my opinion, has grown like crazy as far as share price goes over the last, say, 20 or so years, has not only paid dividends, but paid special dividends, and paid more and more in dividend income long term. The fact that Main Street Capital is up 25.5% on the 1-year time frame does make it a small buy for me consistently. It's just a little nibble here and there, but I still desperately am trying to grow my Main Street Capital position, even if it's going to cost me a little bit more. Another ETF that I've been buying consistently, this one you guys know all about, SEHD, or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, which, side note, is trading at $82.32 as of filming this video. Now, who would have thought that SEHD would be up around 12.4% on the 1-year time frame? And year to date, SEHD is up 8.13%. It just really does go to show that long-term, high-quality assets, even if they are going to have a period of drawdown, they're always most likely going to find their way back, and SEHD, as of right now, filming this video, is basically trading right at a 52-week range high. Now, I still have a longer-term goal of getting to 1,000 shares of this ETF, maybe by the end of this year, or maybe honestly halfway through next year. I'm currently sitting at around 630, 640 shares across my portfolio. But because this ETF does offer a decent starting yield around 3.5%, but most importantly, and this is one of the main reasons I'm buying it, SEHD's dividend growth rate is very, very significant, which means I'm going to get paid more and more in dividends, hopefully long term. The last ETF that I've been grabbing still as of recently, building up sort of an alternative, smaller position compared to the rest of the positions in my portfolio, but having a good time doing so, at least as of now, is SVOL, or the Simplified Volatility Premium ETF. Now, this ETF is actually in the red on the 1-year time frame, which you never really want to see, but this ETF offers around 16% trailing 12-month dividend yield, and has paid a consistent 30 or so cents to investors like myself every single month for a while now. Now, I call it an alternative ETF because it has sort of a wacky strategy that you definitely need to look into. I've made plenty of videos over time on SVOL. But to be completely transparent, I still am grabbing some shares of SVOL ongoingly. I think I even grabbed a few shares today. So those are more or less all the stocks and ETFs that I've been consistently purchasing over the last few months now. Now, are there days in the market where I might grab a different share of this or a different share of that? Of course. And am I by any means saying that all the stocks and ETFs that I've been purchasing over the past few months are the best ETFs and stocks across the market? Of course not. But for my specific investment strategy, buying into high quality stocks and ETFs that pay dividends from day one and either offer a massive starting yield, which is hopefully going to be relatively safe, or if not, offer a nice starting yield and dividend growth historically, every single one of the stocks and ETFs that we went through have at least some of that, if not all of it. But now lastly, most importantly, I want to hear from you guys down below. On a consistent basis, what are a few stocks or ETFs that you've been purchasing consistently as of recently? Drop the ticker symbols in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.